everyone to our In the Kitchen today. I want to say hello to Gloria, Helene, Susan, Sherry. I think that's Patricia, Kathy, Cosmic Shanty. So glad to have you all here today. We're going to do stuffed peppers today. So I have, these are small. I usually like to make the peppers when I find like nice big ones, but this is what they had in the store for me. So I bought these nice red ones. You can use the yellow or the orange, mix it up. You get some beautiful color to your meal. So we're going to start by prepping the pepper. It's very easy. So you're going to cut about a half an inch. You have to judge it on the pepper underneath the ridges. So I'm just going to cut it. And so I cut it in two pieces here. And I use a spoon. I have these spoons. They're like the last of a set that are really quite, not sharp, but they're really good for coring out things like this. So I'm just going to go through and I'm coring out the membrane and the seeds. And I usually go around the outside to try and keep as many of the seeds on the membrane and not getting into the actual shell of the pepper. So and it's pretty easy to do. One more seed. If you have a couple seeds left over, that's fine. So I got a nice easy core, and I've got most of it's intact, the seeds here on the thing. And that's what I'm going to use to stuff the peppers. And I've got a casserole dish here already with 4 ready to go. If I had a bigger one, maybe I would have, I might put one in the middle. So this is a Corning baking dish, has a lid. You can use a casserole dish. You can use a pot. So sometime I'll take one of my pots, like my Dutch oven, if I'm making a bigger enough for my family, and just use that. So you could just use something to bake them in, and you're going to need a cover. So if you don't have a cover, you can use some aluminum foil is good. So that's it. And then we're going to cut up and use the pepper from the lid. So there's a few seeds on this one. So I'm just going to take the few seeds off. And then I'm going to cut around the core, the stem. And this is all that we're going to put in the compost. The rest of it, I'm just going to chop up and just chop it into pieces. It's a little finicky because they're all different piece sizes, but it's nice not to waste for sure. So I'm just going to cut this one up. And put that into with the rest of my peppers. And usually just that is enough peppers. Like if you have however many peppers you want to stuff, that's usually the right amount to do. If you like more peppers, you can add one for yourself. Like you could just cut one up. So you don't have to add extra ones, but you can do this just like that. And so this is actually more than enough peppers. So I'm going to head to the kitchen. Okay, let's go for mute here. I'm going to go head to the stove. Oh no. And we're going to saute. So we're going to make this on the stove. I was getting it all ready. So I'm going to watch her saute things, but I'm actually going to use vegetable broth. I like using that instead of water, but you can just use water if you'd like. Put the heat up. I'm going to move over to the overhead cam, but I'm just going to start with some onion, and I put in some broth. I'm just going to add some onion. So about a medium onion. You can kind of judge it yourself. I had some bigger ones, so about half an onion for the bigger ones is good. The onions I bought at the store were bigger ones. All right. And the nice thing about water sauteing is it can be very forgiving. But you have to watch and make sure you've got enough liquid. So let me move. See if I can spotlight the, boom, that's about right. Got to get it right. It's like the opposite of what you want it to be. All right. So I've got quite a bit of liquid in here. You're just going to let the liquid evaporate and saute your onions. So when I'm making a big batch for my family, I actually will use a wok for this because it's deeper and I could put more stuff in it. But this is a fairly big pan that I'm using for this. And this is a ceramic pan that I'm using. Stainless steel is beautiful, but we get used to this non-stick kind of world. So we'll use this and just let this simmer and the liquid will evaporate. We could tell a story or two now. Isn't it that the pot, what is it? The watched pot never boils? When I'm doing this and I'm kind of doing other things at the same time, it's like, woo! All right. Now, if you really want to caramelize your onions, you're going to use less liquid. And you're going to really have to stir it around and just adding a little bit of liquid as you go. My personal thought is I think that's great. But for really wanting to caramelize my onions, I actually prefer just to put a little bit of olive oil and then it's a little easier than the water because you really have to watch the water one. If you're make sure that you're keeping very little water in it when you really want to caramelize those onions. So I'm getting down to that level now where there's getting less and less liquid. And the onions are starting to get soft. Imagine it really. So this would be really about the level you want to be at for caramelizing. And I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit because I had it on pretty high. And you got to really keep adding the liquid. And so for caramelizing, you really do have to babysit them here. And the lower the heat, the longer you caramelize, then you can really draw out some nice flavors from your onions. All right. So for this sake, these are getting soft, so I'm just going to move on to adding in my garlic. Now my garlic, I minced it up just before we started. I used 4 cloves of garlic. You can use 2, 3, 4, depends on how much garlic you like. And garlic, you got to watch, because garlic will burn very easily. So I usually don't put my garlic in for too long. And then I add the spices in next. A lot of kind of conventional recipes that I grew up with, you kind of add the spices towards when you've added all your ingredients. But adding your spices here allows them to develop some fragrance and really enhance your flavor. So I don't want too much more. So I'm adding in, I'm just going by my measurement in my hand, which is, but it's about a tablespoon of chili powder. Add that in. Let me add a little more liquid here so that it doesn't start burning. There. So I've got chili powder. I like coriander. It's one of my favorite spices now. So I'm adding about a teaspoon of coriander. And with these, I'm using rice as the base, one of the fillings. And rice tends to really soak up the flavors of the spices. So I've added cumin as well. I'm going to add some garlic powder. Yes, I added garlic. I always like to add, be liberal with the spices. So I'm going to add in some onion powder. And then when it's fragrant, which doesn't take very long, a minute or two, then you can start adding some of your other ingredients. So next we're going to add in the peppers that we chopped up as part of from the pepper that we did. We'll add some peppers next. And once the peppers start to cook, you'll get some liquid going here, a little bit of liquid, and then we're going to add in some tomatoes. So we're just going to let the peppers go for a couple of minutes here. And if you feel like it's burning on the bottom, you can add a little bit more water or broth just to keep it from burning. I just like to, just kind of keep an eye on it that way. I might add just a touch, not too much. Oops, I lost the pepper, it flew off. Just let that go. So just give those a few minutes. Maybe a little more water, liquid, not too much. And this is a great recipe if you don't have too much in your house, you're down to the pantry items. Pretty much everything except for the peppers and the onion. Well, peppers and onion are a staple in my pantry. I always kind of have peppers in the fridge. It's like on my list every week to buy some peppers. We use quite a bit. But a lot of it is things like rice. I've got canned beans, black beans. So everything is a lot of pantry staples here. So if you're trying to figure out what to do and you don't have anything but peppers and onion for fresh, you can add that in. Now I'm going to add in my tomatoes. So I've got diced canned tomatoes. I'm going to add those in. This is a big can. I'm going to add about half of the can. Don't want the full can. So I would say it would be like a 400 ml can. I'm not sure what that is, about 14 ounces if you're in the US. So it would be the smaller can, and it's just diced tomatoes. You could actually use fresh diced tomatoes if you have as well. That works too. And we'll let that come, turn it up a bit. We'll let that come to a boil. I can smell, you can't smell, but I can smell all the nice flavors from the chili, pepper, and the garlic. You could add some salt here too if you'd like. That's another thing, you could add in a little bit of salt. And we're just gonna let that come to a boil for a couple minutes here. And you can cook this as long as you want. You just have to make sure that make sure you've got liquid in it. You could add more liquid if it evaporates, just the same way as we have been doing. But I'm good. Our next step is to add in some black beans. Oh, and I've got some nutritional yeast and corn. So I'm going to add in the black beans. So this is a small can of black beans here. And you can make your own too, black beans. That's great if you want. So you'd have to make those in advance. And I have some frozen corn. This is supposedly non-GMO corn. I'm going to add that in. It gives a nice color and a little bit of sweetness to your mix. So we'll just let those simmer and warm up and get nice and boiling here. And then we're going to add in some rice. And now I have rice, it's brown rice that I cooked up. If you like, you can do quinoa. That's another thing. You could use quinoa instead of rice. But I cooked up yesterday some brown rice. And I just cook it in my rice cooker, but just cook it based on the instruction. Since I bought a rice cooker, that's what I use all the time. It's so much easier just to use the rice cooker. Okay, it's almost like you can set it and forget it. So with brown rice, it's like 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of liquid. And so I'm just gonna now give this another minute just to make sure the corn is good. And then I'm gonna add in my rice. Now, the fact that I cooked it yesterday and I left it overnight, just kind of in the fridge, you store it in the fridge, that it actually becomes a resistant starch by cooling it off and then using it. And that gives it like more prebiotics for this is really good for our gut health. So if you think about it, you could do that. I mean, I most of the time will just cook it the same day and use it the same day. But for this, because I wanted to be ready for today, I actually cooked it last night. And then also if you're reheating it, you make a number of peppers. We usually make a bunch and then have some for leftovers. And then you get that resistance starch from the rice that way as well. So we put that in, make sure it gets all heated up. I'm going to add in some nutritional yeast. This could be optional for you. I'm adding in a half a cup because I love it. It gives a kind of an umami flavor, but also like some of the normal other recipes will use cheese. So this is kind of a little bit of a substitute for cheese. I just want to bring it this side. Now it's starting to lose the liquid. So I'm just going to add a little more liquid here. Not too much. Add that in, stir it up, and it's going to be ready for us to stuff our peppers. So you can taste it here, make sure you like the spices that you've got. Let me just give it a taste. I'm going to turn the heat off, I don't want to burn it. That works for me. So you can adjust your spices because, like I said, with the rice, it sometimes absorbs the flavors. So you may think you're adding too much. I feel with cooking, and if you've been here before, you probably heard me say to be more liberal with the spices is good. All right, so that's that. It's ready to go and ready to stuff. I'm going to come back. Should I come back online? Oh, I'll just give you a stuffed one here. I'm just going to stuff a pepper for you. I'm really just going to stuff my peppers. Probably. You could stuff them, overstuff them if you want. And then put them back in the baking tray. And move this a little bit. Oh, no, then you can't see me. All right. Just get these stuff. And what we do is, I love it. We always seem to end up with extra filling. And I'm going to say the filling goes first. Everybody loves the filling. So I always love to make extra so that we have filling as well. I'm going to have extra. I actually have one more pepper I can stuff. But for me, I could just use this, eat this just the way it is. You can eat it right like this. You don't even have to stuff the peppers. You go. All right. So now I've got my 4 peppers in my jar. You can add a little bit of water or liquid to the bottom to help steam it. Don't put too much because then it ends up like bathing in it. And to be honest, a lot of times I don't even put, like I'm talking a tablespoon or 2, that's it. And a lot of times I don't even put any liquid in the bottom. I just let it go the way it is. And it's fine. So what you're going to do then, back to me here. So what you're going to do is put these in the oven on 350 to 375 for 35 to 45 minutes. Really, you know, if they're warm already, like the filling's warm, it's really to soften and cook the outsides. So once your peppers are soft, then you can bring them out of the oven. So let us do that. I'm going to put these ones in the oven and bring out my other ones that are cooked. And I can hear them sizzling away here a little bit. These are nice and soft on the outside, and excuse me, and ready to go. All right, so now we just need to eat it. Oh, I forgot my plate. I need a plate. Now you could add some like avocado, some cilantro, some things to kind of jazz it up. Be careful because it's hot. Make sure I put my mitts on because I am very well known for accidentally touching the hot plates. Just like that. And away you go. I'm going to put this to the side so I don't accidentally touch it. Because knowing me, I will. All right. And I can, honestly, you could cut it so it cuts through, cut it in half. Just beautiful pepper on the plate. Yum, I don't know if you can see that. All that goodness. I would add a salad. You could add, some veggies with it. And you've got a beautiful meal. Fit for a queen. All right. I don't know if there's any questions. This is going to be hot, so.
Hi, Debbie. Sorry that I joined late. It's Patricia.
Hi, Patricia. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here. How long are you cooking the peppers for?
This is about 35 to 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
In the oven. Yeah, about that.
Okay, thank you.
Not too long. Just till they're soft. And that's all you need.
We make stuffed peppers as well. We
Sorry?
make stuffed peppers as well, either with just veggies, or with minced meat.
Yeah, so that's one. So we sometimes will use that too, but whole food, plant-based, this is a nice way. So it's kind of like a Southwest pepper because it's got the chili and cumin and stuff. Looks
So
like
it's interesting you said
combination.
Southwest because my mom used to make these, and I remember her adding ketchup to it. And I guess that's the tomato, because I like your with the tomatoes. That looks so interesting. That is, when I was looking at your overhead cam, I thought, I wonder if she's ever tried it in taco shells, because it looks so Southwestern to me. And it just looks so Southwestern.
Yeah, I mean, you could put it in tortillas or taco shells. Yeah, you could if you wanted to. Yeah, that sounds good. Susan's going to try the stuffed peppers this weekend. Yeah, you can use the yellow, green, or orange. Yeah, so green, I don't use as much green. Green is actually, I don't know, the kind of before they ripen, the bell peppers. But if you wanted to, yeah, and then if Cosmic Shanty, then you've got a nice array of peppers. It just so happened that the peppers that were at our store that looked good were all the red ones. So, ooh, and Donna says her mom makes stuffed pepper. What kind of things does your mom put in her peppers? Because I think you can put bunch of different things. Be creative with it.
She put, oh, she
Go for it.
puts meat in it.
Okay, yeah.
She puts meat, but I don't like it when she puts the meat. I prefer veggie. Sometimes she'll make me plain, just with garlic, onion, a bit of vachetta sauce. She puts a little bit of sauce and salt, pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she uses meat. Yeah, meat.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
good.
we do.
She's a good. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people will use meat. So this is the
Yeah.
plant-based version. And I will be honest, if
Yeah.
we're having, so every so often we have
Mhm.
call it the fake meat, not the real meat.
Same.
So we can use the Beyond Meat to make that. But I'm not advocating that, but it's a nice treat once in a while. So we'll do that. But it's not the same as whole food plant-based. That's adding in other stuff. But I'm kind of the mind thought that follow the eat well most of the time.
Yeah. A little
all
bit of
right.
chocolate.
Sorry.
I said a little bit of chocolate won't hurt us, I guess.
Yeah,
much-
this is something
I
you
love the
could add a
chocolate.
little bit of.
Yeah.
You could add a little bit of cocoa powder in here because I do it in
Oh.
chili. A little bit of cocoa
Oh.
powder might give it
Interesting.
another flavor taste. And
Oh,
there's others. Who was I
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
say? Because there was something else I
Yeah.
was thinking of that's good for this. Oh, now I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
oh wow.
You can use quinoa instead of rice if you wanted to.
Ah.
That's another option for the filling is the quinoa. And yeah, I can't remember the other thing I was going to say. It was such a good thought, but it's gone. Anyway, so yeah, so this is really easy. And like I said, you could just eat the filling. And Kathy, I love that. Like you could do the peppers with it or the stuffing in like a tortilla or a taco shell. Yeah, I mean those are great ideas. The sky is the limit. Make a taco salad out of it too. All right. I remember to pop the link in the chat. I don't always remember, but I got it. So the recipe is there if you would like the recipe. Helene.
So I don't know, it's not really related to stuffed peppers, but I just wanted to say I was in Food Basics on Wednesday night and they had, I don't know if it's still on promo, but it was on promo. They had, I don't know if you've heard of it. It looked really interesting. So I said, okay, I'm gonna try this. It's, how do I take off the thing? It's protein, almond, and cashew silk milk.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I buy that sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have all
So
sorts of different milks out there
it's
now.
dairy free and lactose free.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, and it has vitamin, calcium, B2, B12, protein, zinc, vitamin A, vitamin D. Yeah.
And so it's almonds and they use do they use a
It's
protein
called
powder?
silk, protein, almond, and cashew. 5 essential nutrients, 8 grams of protein.
So they must put a protein powder in it. The other way to do, if you're looking for a higher protein milk, like a plant-based milk, I think soy is the kind of something on the line of soy will get you the highest protein value. But they must put some protein powder or something in there that gives it the boosted powder for them to call it protein.
It's the ingredient. Their ingredients are almond-based filtered water, almonds, pea protein, vegetable oil, vitamin and mineral blend, calcium carbonate, zinc gluconate, vitamin A, palmitate, riboflavin, B2, vitamin D2, vitamin B12, sea salt, cashew butter, Gillian gum, natural flavors, ascorbic acid, contains almond cashews, may contain other tree nuts.
Okay, yeah, and so it's where it's getting the protein from is the pea powder. That's why it's got more pea powder has a higher protein.
I got the unsweetened vanilla flavor,
Yeah.
but
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Have you
I
tried
tried
it?
it. I put it in my cereal yesterday. It was okay.
I'm gonna run.
All right, thanks for
Okay.
coming. We'll get it on.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's hot anyways. I could use some water.
Donna's running.
Yeah, Donna's running. Look at that, getting in her exercise while she's learning about the cooking. All right. Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah. So are you gonna, would you try it or no?
Me, I don't know if I would try it. I kind of like the stuff I have,
Yeah.
but
And
I'll
then I was gonna tell you, so I don't know if I ever told you, but there's this vegetarian, we haven't been in so long, but I was on another Zoom meeting a couple of weeks ago, and one of the people there was commenting on this restaurant that I hadn't been for a very, very, very long time. It's all vegetarian based. And the food, he said the food is amazing. They go like every second week, and it's all, like I said, it's all strictly vegetarian food.
Where is it?
That's the only other thing. It's in
Oh,
Scarborough.
in Scarborough. That's way on the other side of town for me.
It's, well,
Maybe
yeah,
on the other side of the world for some people.
I know that much, but it's like 20, it's about a 15-minute drive from my area.
Okay. Well, you got to go and you got to let me know. All right. So next week, because we had a request for ice cream, nice cream ice cream. So we're going to do ice cream next week as we start getting into the summer, starting to get
What?
warm here.
No, how are we doing ice cream?
Oh, you'll see next week.
No, I
And
mean,
then
I just made ice cream. I just ate ice cream.
Cosmic Shanty is asking about doing a black bean salad, so I will add that to the list. I really appreciate the requests. And I do not use, actually, I do have sardines in my pantry for my dogs and cats, but
Yummy
not for
sardines
me.
are good.
Yeah, so I am 100% plant-based, so I don't use sardines, but I'll take a look and see if I can find something that might be good for you if that's something that you want to have in your diet. But I do feed it to my cats and dogs, not to me.
And they weren't barking today. Why? Because they're outside?
No, they're not outside. Last week they were outside. It's a little warm and they're not quite that astute to go sit somewhere in the shade. So I don't like them to be out where they're sitting out in the sun. Actually, the sun went down now, so they probably could have been outside, but I let
Yeah,
them in. But they were quiet today because nobody was making noise. There's nobody coming to the door. That's why they were quiet.
Yeah.
It depends, right? All right. So I want to thank everyone for coming. Like I said, we're going to do nice cream or ice cream, dairy-free ice cream next week. And enjoy your weekend. Sending everyone so much love. Donna, enjoy the rest of your run. I love that. And we'll see you next week. Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.